What is up, everybody? Woo! It's been a crazy holiday season. I was warning y'all, it was going to be busy. I knew it was going to be busy, but they've been telling us our work is going to be crazy busy. I've been busy building all kind of stuff, and so yeah, got a lot of tools for Christmas and just been buying a lot of tools. I want to start doing some more DIY videos, but I don't want to do the whole process of the build. I might show like certain stuff on how to build, but everything that I do is not difficult, and thanks to Pinterest, you know, it's all this stuff that I'm making is very easily accessible. I just happen to have a lot, access to a lot of mahogany, and most people think I'm crazy for making the stuff that I make out of mahogany, but that's what's used down here. I mean, it's mahogany is like maple and oak, and back in the United States. It's fairly inexpensive here. The wood is born and raised here in the Caribbean, so it's used to the keeping bugs and the salt water away. So I'm going to take a few seconds to tell you about the update on the weigh-in challenge. I did not lose 50 pounds, unfortunately. I think it was right around 30 pounds, which I'm still excited for and thrilled to have done that challenge. I did it because I knew it was going to be difficult to do, which is fine. It's always good to push yourself. And so 30 pounds is nothing to laugh at. I still think it's still 30 pounds, and I feel great. I still have a lot of work to do as far as losing weight, but I wouldn't say it's on the back burner, but I've got a lot of other stuff going on that's kind of more, I'm not going to say more important, but just I got a lot of other stuff going on. So let's get into what my channel will be. I still might do the occasional vegan video where I do reviews of products, vegan reviews and stuff, but there's just not a lot of vegan options down here as far as, grocery store finds. I've done most of it. I know you've probably seen way too many Gardein videos from me, but I mean, that's pretty much the crux of the food reviews I'm going to do. So I'm going to focus more on DIY projects and woodworking projects that I have done. And so that's pretty much where I'm going to start with this journey. And I don't want to touch on the vegan drama and all that, because some people want to hear it, but I really don't want to talk about it. So we're going to jump right into some of the projects that I've been working on. So one of the first projects you need as a woodworker is a mallet. And I've been looking around, and to buy a mallet on eBay and Amazon and stuff, you can get a decent one for 30 bucks or so. But this one just happened to kind of fall in my lap for the materials. This is a solid mahogany handle. And I know mahogany, it's not the best hardwood to use for tools like this, but it's what I have available, and it's what's really cheap down here. So that's kind of what you go with, and it's hard enough. It's twice the hardness of pine. It's around the 1,000-1,100 Janka scale, and if you don't know what that is, that's just a scale to tell how hard wood is. Pine, just for an example, pine would be somewhere around the 400 to 600 range, depending on the board. And mahogany, this is like a Caribbean local mahogany. It's not African mahogany. African mahogany is very, very hard. Like, it's up in the 2,000. I mean, it's very, very dense wood, but it's also very difficult to work with because it is so hard. This mahogany, I would say it's probably in the 900 to 1,100 range. So it's a solid mahogany handle, and this was my first attempt at making a mallet, and I know this is not the perfect, but you know what? If I hit something with this, it moves, and it works great. It's not super heavy, which I like, and I can get in tight corners with it. And the face is actually a triple laminated piece of oak pallet wood that I found. And I mean, basically, it's just 3 pieces of oak sandwiched together, and then put the handle in the middle, glued it all together, and that's what I came up with. When I made this, I had very limited hand tools and power tools, so it was basically a handsaw, and I used a miter saw at work to cut the middle pieces. And you want to cut those at a slight angle, like a 2-degree angle. That way you can have a wedge, but you can tell this handle goes all the way through, and I just glued it together, and it's super tight, super strong. I love the way it looks, and it feels great, and it's got a good balance to it. So that was project number 1. As I got into it, I decided to make a solid head mallet. And why do you need 2 mallets? You don't, but I want to, so I'm gonna have to. So this one is actually a solid chunk of mahogany, the same mahogany as that handle. It's approximately 2 inches thick. It's maybe an inch and 7/8. The handle is mahogany as well, and I'm not completely done with this one. I still need to cut the crown, flatten it, and clean it up and smooth. But you can see on the top, this one actually is a wedge through system. So you come in and then you drive 2 wedges to spread the handle that goes all the way through, to spread that out and create clamping pressure. And I did that and glued it all together. So this is never coming apart ever. And the reason I use glue is because expansion and contraction happens down here quite a bit because it is so humid. So just wanted to give the mallet more of a life, and that's what I did with there. I got a little more shaping to do on the handle here, just because it is a little large for my hands, and I've got really large hands. And I'm gonna put a chamfer, and that just means I'm gonna cut like a 45-degree angle on all the edges just to clean them up, make them smooth. But this thing is way heavier than this one, and it'll probably last quite a bit longer, just because this is laminated and that's solid. Speaking with the hammer theme, I got this little jewel. This is called a tack hammer, and this is from Stanley, and mainly used for upholstery people, things of that nature, where you're driving like really small nails and where you don't need, a huge mallet like this. So this head is an old Stanley. I believe it's from the 50-60 era, and you can kind of tell by the stamping on there. So I took it, solid mahogany handle, because that's what I have available, shaped the handle, put it through, cut a nice little tenon in there, drove a wedge in there, and then I put epoxy to fill the void. This is super solid, really, really nice, comfortable. So this is really nice. I mean, I don't use it all the time, but when you need a small hammer, this is the one to use. Great little hammer. And it was a rescue, so that's kind of why I like it. This was covered with rust, completely filthy and dirty. And I love restoring old tools. Speaking of restoring old tools, this is another one. This is a chisel. This is a 3/4 inch chisel. And this was in pretty rough shape. It took me approximately an hour or so to ground the back flat, because you need to have the back flat, and I'm still not all the way done. I got it flat to about this point right here, and that's really good enough to work. I've got a little more work to do on the chisel edge, but as far as being sharp, I mean, this thing cuts like a dream. The handle I got at a garage sale, and I'll be talking more about that garage sale find for the tools I got in a separate video, because it's going to blow your mind, all the tools I got. This hammerhead was one of those tools in that lot. So this handle was for something else. I really don't know what the handle was for, so I just stripped it down, smoothed it out to where it's comfortable to fit in my hand, and it looks a little weird. It's not perfectly concentric all the way around, but it's comfortable in my hand. And I did a couple of grooves where my fingers would fit, so I would know exactly where to hold this. Because if I hold it like this, it doesn't fit right. It doesn't fit my finger grooves. And I know it's kind of weird to do that, but these are my tools, and I want them to fit my hand. And that way, if I just reach down, I just have to give it a slight turn, and that way I'll be able to chisel some wood. So I had to regrind the front face, the bevel as it's called, and I did that at 25 degrees, and then a micro bevel for roughly 27 degrees. And that's your primary cutting, is the micro bevel. That way it's less wear on the chisel, and it slices right through. I mean, it had no problem going through a piece of mahogany ingrain, and it was quite amazing. I did find out that this particular chisel is from a company called Shapley, Shapleigh, and they were a tool company. And this chisel was from approximately 1900 to 1910, somewhere in that area. And this was completely covered in rust. I soaked it in a solution called a vapor rust, and it cleaned up really good. And all like the pits, I was going to grind that down, but I just think it gives it character. So I'm not going to touch that because it works amazing just like it is. Another piece that I made is just called a scratch awl. And this is used just for marking. Like if you're drilling a hole, put this in your wood and you make a dimple. That way, whenever you go in to drill a hole, you have a nice mark in there. Made this 100% by hand. Once again, it's solid mahogany because I know it's going to last. It does have a copper ferrule on the front, and I polished it to a high shine, and then I didn't put any stuff on it because I wanted to get that old look. And the same with the nail. This is just a galvanized, I think a 2.5-inch nail that I got from the hardware store. I think it literally cost like 2 pennies to buy. And I polished it up and gave it a real nice point, and it's pretty sharp, and I love the way this looks. And this is just one of those tools, you always need, and a lot of people don't have them around, so I'm really happy with that build. The next thing would be these little bookends that I made. Really simple design, really easy, but I just love the way they look. And they're simple, and they're just little bookends. They are 3/4 inch solid mahogany, and I love everything about them. They're a good weight, and they will hold quite a few books without a problem. So that was a really easy build with just some scrap mahogany that I had laying around. So, and those will be for sale in my craft show that we're doing next month. This is another project I've done. I made 14 of these. These are all hand done by me, obviously. And they're just little hearts, nothing crazy. They're little refrigerator magnets. You can see the magnet there on the back. And I hand formed all these and shaped and molded and did a little chisel work on the inside. And what I really like about these is that every one of them is different, just like everybody else is different. These are not just stamped from a stamp and pressed on wood and then all sanded smooth. I mean, these are all, you can tell all the ones that I've done have a little different shape, and I just like to play around with the shape. But these are really cool. These will be for sale. If anybody's interested in wanting one of these, just give me a message. They will be like $10, and shipping back to the United States probably a couple dollars. So if you want one of those, let me know. I've got 14 of them. And probably have to be making a lot more of these because we do have a craft fair coming next month. This is my latest build that I just got done with today, actually. This is a wine caddy, and take your bottle of wine and you put it in, and then boom, you got your little stuff of wine caddy. I don't have the wine glasses, but they go on the side and they hang down. This is, again, solid mahogany, just what I have access to, and that's what I'm going to use. And that's what everybody around here wants, is solid mahogany. This will be for sale in the craft show also. And I just love the way this looks. I mean, I did all the screw holes with oak pins, so that you don't see any screws anywhere except for on the bottom here. And you really don't even see those unless you're looking underneath it. These are brass angles to hold the stems up, or to hold the sides up. But I just love the way this came out. It's comfortable. I carved the handle out of a solid piece, and that was really challenging, but really, really fun to do. And I think it turned out great. You can see on the bottom here the same. You don't see any screws anywhere. It's just, you know, the oak, solid oak pins to hide. And I just think it gives that little extra detail and care that, you know, you don't see screws all the time. This is one of the tools that I refurbished. I have not been able, or I haven't had time to redo the teeth, which I will do that soon. I do not, whenever I was cleaning the surface, and this thing was really, really bad with rust, like terrible. Soaked it in some solution. It's called a vapor rust, and it did pretty well, but you know, there was a lot of pitting, so I took a wire wheel to it, and I know you're not supposed to do that, but it's my saw and I do what I want. And it came out really good. It still cuts really good, but it does need to be sharpened, and I'll get to that soon enough. The handle was disgusting, had this terrible stain on it, like wood stain, so I cleaned it up, sanded all of it, and just made it gorgeous, and now it's smooth, it's comfortable, and I just love the way this feels. And I don't know if this is a Distin saw or not. I'll never know, but I love the way it feels, and it feels great. So yeah, this is another tool that I got in that lot with the big tool purchase I had. And then finally, got a little stool, just a little step stool, nothing crazy. My wife wanted one, so I made her one. And this was all pieces and scraps from my bench build that I did. And I'll show a couple pictures of my bench that I made from down here. And this has the same solid oak pins in the top. You know, really, really fun build. And we're gonna get years of use out of it, you know, so I'm really excited about that. I did have another project which I used from an old electrical spool, and I made that into a little bookcase. It's really small. You can see the pictures here. This was really fun, and this one literally cost me $0 to make. I love the way it turned out, and the top is really nice. It's all painted solid white, and eventually, once I go to sell it, I put the bookends on top, the mahogany bookends, and so that's why it'll display. All these inspirations came from Pinterest, like I said, and it's been really fun. Another project, and I know you're probably getting tired of me saying another project, but I really have been busy. Another project, this was made completely out of scraps that were just offcuts, and I put them all together, glued them up, and you can see here it's this gorgeous mahogany ingrained cutting board. Now, mahogany is not known to be good for cutting boards, so my wife said, hey, how about we make it a toast board? So I made it wide enough to put our toaster on, and then that way you can toast and butter your bread in the morning, and you won't get it all over the counter and everything. And we use it as a toast board, and you can also use it as like a presentation piece. It's not going to be used for cutting like vegetables and stuff like that, because mahogany is an open grain wood, so really not good for real cutting boards. But it turned out gorgeous. I love the way it looks, and my wife couldn't be happier with it. I'm going to get into my bench build just very briefly. And it was really, really fun. Kind of an essential piece to getting all these projects done because you need a place to put stuff when you make everything. So this is just a couple pictures of my bench build, and it's 6 foot long, 2 foot wide, and then the top is plywood, double plywood laminated, and it's super strong, and everything folds up. The legs are collapsible, and this thing weighs about 2 tons. It is so heavy, and it does not move, and I love the way it turned out. These are a couple of. This is a sign that I did for Christmas for my wife. It just says love. It's carved in solid mahogany. Turned out gorgeous. She loved it, and couldn't be happier with it. It was pretty challenging, but really, really fun to make. This is a desk that I got several months back that I've been using, and so I wanted to make it really, really functional and pretty. So I replaced the top, the sides, and the shelves with solid mahogany. This build came out gorgeous, really, really dressed up this very blah desk. The solid mahogany is a flame maple stain with paste wax finish, and this build was so fun and so rewarding, and this thing will get years and years of use. And I gave it that old distressed look because I just really like that look. And I think that's about it for the projects that I've been working on. I've got a lot more coming up. I've got a lot more work that I want to do. But as you can see, it's all like little projects because we are going to do a craft show either next month or in March. I can't remember what she said. So I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff together to see how good we're going to do at the craft show. And I think that's about it. It's great to see everybody. Give me a thumbs up if you want to. If not, give me a thumbs down. And yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to use iMovie because I haven't used it in like 2 months. But anyway, Bird from St. Croix, I'm out. Stay beautiful. We'll see you later.